This video, I'm going to cover our cleanup process, how to properly shut down everything and prepare for Sunday, as well as every single day in and out. So number one, it is important to know that there is one important thing to do for the soundboard. Anything else you can just turn off at will, but the soundboard has one very specific thing. With the soundboard, we did not use the monitors today, but in the future, especially for like the worship teams, if you're using this video, we want to make sure that we turn off all the monitors that are on the stage. You can't see them from here, but the monitors are those wedges that produce sound on the stage. The off switch is simply on the underside of the monitor. It's just a simple on-off switch, so flick that off. And there are 3 different monitors up there that you will want to turn off. Once all of those are turned off, then you are good to start powering down your station. This board needs to be prepped in order to safely turn it off. What that means is basically if you were to just turn off the board, the speakers are still expecting all of this support. And so by just turning the board right off, it's going to do a big pop into the speakers when you take the energy out, the power and whatnot, and it's going to have a very loud explosive pop, and it could damage the speakers. Usually it doesn't, because this is a mistake that happens frequently, but you do this multiple times and you really could damage all of our speakers at one mistake. So in order to prep the board, you want to start out by muting all of your channels. Now, I don't mean you have to actually go through and manually mute everything. Typically, you can leave things as they are, but remember, we have one control panel that mutes the entire board, and that is your mains. So go to your mains, you can turn them all the way down. Now, we know where these usually go because they usually always have the mains right at 0. Unlike your other things, if you were to turn the volume down on everything, it's going to mess with how everything is designed. We already have things predetermined where certain things are at different levels in comparison. So you don't want to go through instruments and start turning everything down. We don't want to move a bunch of switches. What you can do is move the main down because we always know where the main is going to go. Take all the sound out. You can even click mute, doing both things, it's fine. Once you have that sound off, you are no longer at risk of having any sound popping or anything like that. And then in order to shut down the board properly, you simply go up to the top and you're going to click setup. Buttons are just buttons. Don't have fear of buttons. These buttons will not affect anything. You're just going to setup. As long as you only click setup, you're going to be fine. And then you are going to this knob. Now I know these look like they're just twistable. They are actually all buttons as well. After you click setup, you're just going to click this left button one time. And eventually a screen is going to pop up that says, let me try and get this in focus. You can safely switch off the console now, or press home to continue. Okay, that was a mistake, whatever. I'm going to click home. Now I'm back into the board. Now I do want to turn it off. Okay, I'm going to go to setup, click setup, and the far left knob, give it a push. Now it says you can safely switch the console off. Now we do not go from the back of the console. We never turn that off because remember, everything is plugged in back here. This is what switches everything off and turns everything on by itself. Once you've prepared the board, we just simply go back to our switch, just like how we turned it on, and we are clicking that off. That's right below. Notice it automatically just powered off. Make sure you prepare the board. All right, following that, we have a couple more things to do. The lights. Notice all of our lights are on. Before we just close this computer and let stuff power off, we want to try and do this properly. So go to each light setting and actually turn it off. Notice that I had the movie lights on for our movie. I'm going to double click. I'm going to go to the stop and they should power off. Notice the lights are still on. That means I must have had multiple settings going on at once. How can I tell which setting it is? Well, I could click through each one and click stop and click stop. That's nonsense. Look for the one with the little play icon in it and the 1 for 1. You can click that. That's the one that you know is on, and click it off. Now all of my lights are off. I'm good to close the program. Just go up to the right. Do I want to close? Yes. Finally, for maintenance of the computer, you want to properly shut down the computer every time rather than just closing the lid. We want to properly go to the power settings and click shut down let it shut down. Same thing with our Lyric software over here. We want to close out of all the tabs we are not using. Typically, I'll just leave this tab open during the week because this is where I start with everything and I come here and it's already ready. But as we prepare for Sunday morning, I'm going to click out of everything. And then if you really want to be helpful, as they get ready for Sunday, they have to have it on extend. So I'm even gonna go to my display settings. I'm gonna turn it to extend so that when they get on here on Sunday morning and they open up the presentation software, it's already prepped and ready for them. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to properly close this down, shut down. Now that I have everything shut down, I have just spilled my water all over the floor. Okay, I'll clean it up. Now that I have everything taken down, I have two things that I need to check for. One is the iPad. The iPad is not here. It is not plugged in. You need to make sure you identify the iPad and always plug it in here. This charger should never leave, and the iPad should always be plugged in at the end of the day. I will go do that after I record this video. And then the final thing is, when we close these doors, we want to make sure that we lock this over the weekend while we are not here, because we don't want to get in trouble for anything happening to it over the weekend. So latch over. Harder to do one-handed. Okay, and we're latched. I'm gonna go get the iPad, and that is the end of cleanup. Make sure you do not forget the projectors. Sometimes they turn blue, sometimes they stay black. We do not want to kill the bulbs, so make sure you go back, grab the remote, and turn off the projectors. Double click the on button twice. Also, one extra thing is the HDMI cord. If you are not using the HDMI cord, we want to try and take that out for the weekends. We are going to use it for this Sunday, for VBS Sunday though, so I'm leaving that there. All right. Make sure we return the TV at the end of the week to that hallway so that the Sunday school can use the TV. Do not forget about that. I'm leaving this here because we're using it. My haters watching this and thinking, there's no way Mr. Nick actually goes down and gets the iPad and plugs it in before he locks up. Boom, boom. There we go. Accountability, here we go.